Hey, what's going on YouTube? As the title of the video says, I'm going to present you with my ideal version of the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movie. This is not a prediction video or a speculation video, this is essentially me making the movie, showing you how I would love the film to play out. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do better than what Marvel can do, I certainly hope I don't. This is just a little fun video I'm making to help tide you guys over until the real movie comes out. Here's the rules. I'm going to use everything that's been established before and use everything that's in the realm of possibility. So for example, no Silver Surfer or Galactus Fantastic Four showing up, since Marvel don't have the rights to those properties. And what was that? Wait, what? You say what? Marvel's got the rights now? Oh shit. Damn. Okay. Maybe Silver Surfer and X-Men and Fantastic Four might show up in this, or my version of Avengers 4, if I make one, who knows. Also, there will be moments in this video where you see characters speak with speech bubbles, like this. But you'll also hear me narrating the action at the same time. Don't pay too much mind to the speech bubbles, otherwise it could get a little confusing. They're more like Easter eggs if you want to pause and read them on your second watch through or something. And keep in mind, I wrote this plot before any trailers and barely any info of Infinity War was released, so any similarities to the actual movie is purely coincidental. Can I prove it? No, I can't, you just have to take my word for it, wouldn't you? Anyway, enough of my waffling. Go! So we've got to start where Thor Ragnarok left off. We last left off with them chilling up in space, looking for a new home after Asgard was destroyed by Surtur, and the fate of Hela unbeknownst to us. Then a big ass ship appears before Thor and company. This ship belongs to Thanos in my version of the movie, and most likely it will in the real version of the movie, I'm pretty sure about that. Thanos has been tracking the Infinity Stones and has been led straight to Thor's ship, which holds a bunch of Asgardians: Valkyrie, Loki, Korg, Hulk and Heimdall. Thanos' big ass ship opens up and eats Thor's ship, kind of like the Death Star in Star Wars, and Thor steps out asking, "What is this all about?" We are then introduced to the Black Order: Corvus Glaive, Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight and Call Obsidian. No idea why they changed his name from Black Dwarf, but whatever, Call Obsidian sounds pretty cool actually. Proxima then steps up and says, that's the name of Thanos' ship in the comics, and that's the name of the ship in the movie, for me at least, I think. I'd have Thanos and crew be kind of surprisingly hospitable. Loki then would say, "I have a bad feeling about this," while Thor is being all clueless. Then Thanos finally shows himself, looking as grand as a big menacing purple titan can look.
"Thor, Prince of Asgard.
King, actually.
I believe you have something that belongs to me. The Tesseract.
It's been destroyed along with Asgard. What do you want with it?" Then Thanos says something sexily badass like,
"It is not wise to lie to a superior being."
Or some badass thing like that. I don't know, I'm trying to make this quick, alright? Anyway, Thanos reveals that the Tesseract is indeed in Thor's possession with some kind of energy detector, and Thor looks confused. Then Loki brings it out. He was hiding it all along with an illusion. It is revealed that Loki stole it during Ragnarok, like we didn't know that. Thor's pissed and he's all like, "Oh come on Loki, really? Well, I didn't know he was going to show up, did I?" And Thor and Loki continue bickering, and then Thanos shouts an epic
"Silence!"
Yeah, the whole room shakes from this badass yell. He tells Loki to give him the Tesseract, and Thor says no! Loki says stop to Thor, that Thor doesn't understand that Thanos will destroy them all in an instant. Loki then slowly walks up to Thanos and presents him with the Tesseract, like in the Comic-Con trailer. And then just as Thanos is about to take it, Thor attacks. He's seen enough, and Thanos owns him quick, grabs him by the skull and shouts,
"Fool, now watch as I destroy your people."
Then Heimdall, Valkyrie, Hulk steps out ready to fight. The Black Order attack them and overpower them with ease and knock them out. Hulk takes them on and is putting up a good fight as Thanos is holding Thor by his skull. Thanos is intrigued by Hulk and exclaims,
"The green beast is powerful."
And Hulk replies in mid-fight,
"Up around, stupid."
Gotta get the jokes and comedy in there for the casuals. Thanos calls for the fighting to stop, and Hulk is standing there ready to continue. Thanos walks up to the Hulk, with Thor in hand, face to face with Hulk, and you could hear a pin drop, it's that intense. Thanos stares Hulk down like Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon, and Hulk, for the first time ever, looks slightly intimidated. This would be a massive moment. Thanos, seeing Hulk as a dangerous threat, lifts the Tesseract between them and says,
"You You will return from where you came, beast.
And the Tesseract flashes and Hulk disappears. Thanos then turns his attention to Thor and says,
For your insolence, your people shall die.
Thor begs and struggles, and Thanos destroys Thor's whole ship and instantly kills all the Asgardians on board. Thor is in tears and Loki is horrified. Thanos grabs Thor and brings him up to his face and says,
When you cross me, death is inevitable.
And he launches Thor out into the depths of space at high speed with his bare hands. Valkyrie and Heimdall are captured, and Loki looks at Thanos and kneels immediately. Thanos holds the Tesseract up and says to Loki,
Despite your failures, you managed to deliver the Tesseract. You will be spared for now.
Thanos then crushes the Tesseract and takes the blue stone out of it and puts it on his gauntlet. And here it is revealed Thanos is actually already in possession of the Soul Stone, right smack in the middle of the gauntlet. This is also how he was able to track the Tesseract so easily. How did he get it? Stay tuned.
2 down, 4 to go.
Then the stones glows into titles: Avengers Infinity War. Dun 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 dun. And now we've started with a bang. We've introduced Thanos and the Black Order, and Thor's people have been slaughtered. Thanos already has 2 Infinity Stones, and yeah, my version is pretty dark, but it kinda has to be. This is the culmination of 10 years worth of build. It's gonna get pretty dark. And now we get into Act 1 of how I would like Avengers Infinity War to play out. I would start with the continuation of Civil War, like the Russos have actually been hinting at while promoting Infinity War.
The most compelling way to start off Infinity War would be to have the Avengers spread off to the ends of the earth in complete conflict with each other when the greatest threat that they've ever faced shows up. And it's setting the groundwork for Infinity War, but you know, Civil War is not finished. The story will continue. The story of this family will continue into those movies.
We open with a character we have not seen for a while, Tim Blake Nelson from The Incredible Hulk, who was playing Samuel Stearns. In the movie he was hinted at becoming Marvel villain The Leader, but Marvel did nothing with it. Well, I'm going to use him here. Samuel Stearns, aka The Leader, with his huge head, is up to no good and has kidnapped some civilians in a warehouse, hiding in plain sight in the middle of the city in New York. He has the intention to perfect his Hulk formula. Yeah, I know, cliche bad guy plot, but that's not important, alright? All we need to know is that he's up to no good. Then a hooded man silently appears in the warehouse and says, Stern, give it up. It's time to stop. Stern then sends his goons on the hooded man, and then they get beaten up in a flash while the camera is focused on Stern's horrified reaction. Then we cut to heroic shots of a blonde Black Widow with shorter hair than in the promotional pictures of her in the official movie. Miss Johansson would be using her real life haircut in my version as a callback to her short hair that was freakishly exactly the same style in the Infinity Gauntlet comic. Yay! No more red wig for Scarlett Johansson. And we cut to a Hawkeye hero shot, Ant-Man finishing off some goons, Falcon bitch slapping some fools, Scarlet Witch looking hot doing some mind-bending shit to a couple clowns, and then we cut to a big group shot of Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Ant-Man and Falcon all standing in front of the hooded man. He steps forward and he reveals himself, a bearded Captain America in his torn up Civil War suit. Stern then starts laughing. Captain America? You're just as much a criminal as I am. Perhaps I should be bringing you in instead. Widow then exclaims, how did you escape from S.H.I.E.L.D.? I stopped you, which actually did happen in the Marvel tie-in comics. Stern replies, well, thanks to you, of course. You destroyed S.H.I.E.L.D., allowing for an easy escape, but you will not escape from here. Stern is about to set off an explosion, but then we hear a familiar voice. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Vision then phases from the floor and knocks Stern out. Wanda looks shocked. Captain says, oh no. And we hear another familiar voice. Oh no, it's right. And Tony breaks the door of the warehouse down. He's with Rhodes in the War Machine armor. Cap, thinking quick, says, everyone scatter. Falcon, Hawkeye, Wanda escape to the outside, and Ant-Man shrinks out of the warehouse and into the city. Iron Man and War Machine fly outside and land in front of Cap's team. Vision then lands beside Tony and Rhodes. Cap says, you really want a repeat of Leipzig? Tony replies, yeah, actually, I believe we won that fight, right? Fine. Then we'll have a repeat of Siberia instead. And goes in for the attack. Vision floats in front of Cap, but Wanda takes him down, much like at the Avengers compound in Civil War. War Machine takes on Falcon and Hawkeye, while Ant-Man goes for Tony. He throws into an uppercut, and Widow then fly kicks into Tony. War Machine is putting up a good fight with Hawkeye, but he can't handle both Hawkeye and Falcon, and they end up overpowering Rhodes. Captain takes advantage and holds Tony in a headlock. You really think you could stop us with just the three of you?
No, I didn't.
Steve, look out! And out of nowhere, Luke Cage takes a big powerful punch to Captain America that sends him flying. Daredevil in a fully costumed Iron Fist kick Hawkeye and Falcon off Rhodes, and Jessica Jones barges into Scarlet Witch and sends her flying backwards. As Team Cap is recovering in shock, we see Team Tony forming with Iron Man, War Machine, Vision, Daredevil, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Yeah, I know at the end of the Defenders, Daredevil is presumed dead and is incredibly injured, but let's just say this takes place in the middle or after Daredevil Season 3, for argument's sake. Tony says,
Steve, meet the Defenders. This is what it looks like when you fight alongside the law.
so you're still taking orders from Ross?
Ross? Steve, this is from the President. You can't go around being a vigilante, doing whatever the hell you want. Not anymore.
Listen, we can fix this, Tony.
You told me in that letter that when I need you, you be there. Well, I need you now. I need you to give yourself up.
You know that's not gonna happen.
Then my hands are
Tied. And then you guessed it, a big fight happens. It's not as crazy as the airport fight, but we get some one-liners and interactions from the Secret Avengers and the Defenders. This entire opening sequence is used to establish the Defenders for the sequel, to show that the Avengers are very much still fractured, and it makes Civil War feel more like a war rather than a civil dispute, by having one final battle in New York while also paying homage to the big city battle from the comics. The fight ends fairly quickly when Cap notices the destruction that they're all causing. Cap tells everyone to stop. He turns himself in to stop the carnage, and Cap realizes this is not what the Avengers were supposed to be about. It's not what he's about. Tim and Cap start looking all confused, and Steve says to Tony, "If you bring me in, will you let them go?" And Falcon shouts, "No!" And Tony says, "I'll see what I can do." We then cut to a prison scene where Cap is behind the bars and Tony is speaking to him. Sam and the others are being held at the new Avengers facility. Held by your new friends? What do you call them? The Defenders? I shouldn't be surprised you haven't heard of them, being on the run and all. You guys are looking pretty rough. Yeah, keeping the world safe while trying to hide from it takes a lot out of you. Speaking of hiding, where's Barnes? You still want him dead? Look, I understand he wasn't under his own control, and I understand that he's your friend, but he needs to be brought to justice. You still want him dead? Did you think a letter was gonna fix this? It's out of my hands now, Steve. That's up to the courts to decide. They'll crucify him. You're not gonna talk. I don't want to see you rot in here, Steve. The quicker you give up Barnes, the quicker I can help you get the hell out of here. What's gonna happen to Sam, Wanda, and Clint? They're going to be debriefed and sign up to the Accords. If they refuse, well, I'd call dibs on the top bunk. Tony, I'm sorry for everything. Yeah, I'm sorry too. And after all this madness, it becomes Thanos the movie and his search for the remaining Infinity Stones and the Avengers trying to stop him. We cut to Thanos aboard his ship. We get his motivation here. We find out that he's in love with death. Not just the idea of death, but the physical embodiment of death. And no, in my story, death is not Hela, played by Cate Blanchett, but it's actual death from the comics, played by Eva Green. Thanos feels the cosmic entity will only show herself to him if he has cosmic power himself and becomes her equal. And Thanos' way to get cosmic power? With the Infinity Gauntlet, of course. His end goal is to use the Infinity Gauntlet to be the most powerful cosmic entity in the universe. This way, death cannot deny him. We see Thanos in his ship, staring into the depths of space, talking to himself, staying true to his namesake, the Mad Titan. He's blabbering on about how he's just eradicated an entire race of people, and why is this not enough for death to show herself to him? Why does death still spurn him? Why is Thanos so in love with death? He was born with it. He had always had a fascination with power, death and destruction, growing in power and infamy as he travelled the universe after causing unrivaled destruction. Thanos finally met Death herself as it appeared to him embodied in a female form. Thanos was infatuated with the being and endeavoured to make himself worthy in order to earn her love in return. With an army under his command, he nearly destroyed his former home of Titan, declaring himself its ruler, but death still would not come. Thanos had a premonition from death and comes to believe there is too much life in the universe and must bring balance by causing more death. At some point he reiterates this to Loki on his travels. Thanos travels to nowhere using the Space Stone, opens a massive portal where he faces off with the Collector. The Collector knows Thanos is coming and sets up his defences, but Thanos wipes out the entirety of the Collector's army of Nowhere's inhabitants. After he tells his Black Order to sit back and watch him work, we see Thanos visibly laughing and enjoying all the death and destruction he is causing. He exclaims that everybody is dying for a noble cause to bring balance to the universe. Thanos then gets to the Collector, and the Collector notices Thanos has 2 Infinity Stones, but he is more concerned with the Soul Stone. The Collector claims it is the most powerful of all the Infinity Stones, and is essentially the heart of the universe. The Collector says if he has but one dying wish, to learn how Thanos acquired the stone, as he had been searching for it forever to no avail. And Thanos obliged and said he obtained it a couple of years ago from a race known only as the Sovereign, the same race of gold people that was after the Guardians in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Thanos continues saying he defeated their strongest warrior and points out it was one of the most toughest battles he had ever been in. And he almost met Death herself, but not in the way he wanted. He managed to destroy the warrior and took the first of the 6 Infinity Stones. The Collector is amazed by this story and says that he'd do anything for it. Thanos, being the kind, reasonable Titan that he is, says he'll swap it for the Reality Stone, and the Collector cannot believe his luck as the trade is about to be made. Of course, you guessed it, the Collector's soul is sucked into the Soul Stone and his lifeless body falls to the floor, and Thanos collects both stones. Thanos now has 3 stones: reality, space, and the soul. And now we're in Act 2 of my version of Avengers Infinity War. We cut back to space and Thor comes into contact with the Guardians of the Galaxy on their ship. Thor explains about Thanos, and he and Gamora hit it off for their equal hate of Thanos. Thor says only one group of people that he knows are powerful enough to help: the Avengers. Quill is nervous about going back to Earth after his trauma with his mother, but with a little encouragement from his friends, he's ready. Then they fly off into hyperspace to Earth in the Milano. We are back on Earth and we see a lost Bruce Banner who has been teleported back to Earth by Thanos earlier. He's searching for clothes on the way to the Avengers facility. Suddenly a strange portal appears. See what I did there? Anyway, Banner gets sucked into it and is teleported to Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. Just as established in Thor Ragnarok, Strange monitors anomalies and otherworldly occurrences that interfere with the Earth, and Banner's swift teleportation on Earth with the Infinity Stone triggered Strange to summon him. Banner then explains to Strange about Thanos. He tells him how, as the Hulk, he can never really remember his experiences, but with Thanos, he remembers it as clear as day. He never felt the Hulk feel fear before, and Banner felt that fear, and Banner says we have to find Tony Stark. Back at Avengers headquarters, we see Tony shooting the shit with the Netflix defenders who aren't so keen about the Accords themselves anymore, but Tony insists that if they want to continue defending the New York streets, that they need to do it under the law, and the defenders leave Avengers HQ a little unsure of their new role. The Falcon comes up to Tony and explains that they've all finally signed the Accords and requests that Captain America be released. Tony says when he gives up Barnes, he will be. It's late at night at the Avengers facility. Vision and Scarlet Witch are talking. She apologizes for earlier. They begin reconciling and are glad to be on the same team again. There's a hint of a romance in this scene, but then suddenly both of them sense a strange presence. Vision senses it more intensely, something to do with their connection to the Mind Stone. Vision and Wanda go outside and are attacked by Proxima Midnight and Ebony Maw of the Black Order. Out of nowhere, they put up a decent fight, but the 2 members of Thanos' Black Order are unusually strong. They are losing until they are joined by Falcon and Hawkeye. Wanda asks the Black Order members what they want, and Proxima says, the heroes all look at Vision, and then with the strength of Cap's secret Avengers together, they manage to push back Ebony Maw and Proxima Midnight, and they escape through a portal. Falcon asks what the hell that was all about, and Hawkeye says we need to call Tony, and even Vision thinks that's a bad idea. Wanda suggests that they go hide Vision in Wakanda. They manage to hide from the world there, they can hide Vision there too. Falcon says if we're going to Wakanda, we'll need a Quinjet, and Widow steps out and says, and we'll need Steve. Stark is alerted that Team Cap has left the Avengers facility and have stolen a Quinjet, heading for the prison Cap is being held in. Just as he and Rhodes were about to make off to find them, Banner, Wong and Strange appear out of a slinging portal right in front of Stark at the Avengers facility. Tony is shocked to see Doctor Strange and his powers. Banner explains where he's been and that Thanos is coming for Strange's time stone, the Eye of Agamotto. Stark gets an alert that an unidentified craft has been spotted in Earth's atmosphere a few clicks away from Avengers facility. The team assume it's Thanos. Before they can fly off, Tony asks for permission from the government to engage this potential threat, and they are told that they have to wait a couple of hours so it can get sanctioned as an official Avengers mission under the law. And Banner basically tells Tony to stop fucking around, and Strange says we need to move now. Wow, the Accords don't really work well in practice, do they? Tony thinks fuck it, we'll get a Quinjet, and Stark gets his Hulkbuster armor because of how large the threat is. He tries to reach out to the Defenders, but they are no longer answering his call, and he calls Peter Parker Spider-Man because he knows they need every able body they can get. Stark gives Spider-Man the Iron Spider armor for extra protection, even though Spidey doesn't want it, but Tony doesn't want to see Spider-Man hurt, so Tony insists. They fly to where the ship has landed, and they don't find Thanos or his ship, the Sanctuary. Instead, they find Thor stepping out of the Milano with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thor sees Banner and is happy to see him alive. Thor asks Tony where Captain America and the rest of the Avengers are, and Tony says that he's a criminal and he's under arrest. Thor looks confused and somewhat angry that the team fell apart this bad while he was gone. The Guardians meet Tony, and Tony is mesmerized by Rocket and Groot and is stunned by the Guardians' technology. Doctor Strange shows them all the Eye of Agamotto and tells them that the artifact is what Thanos is after. Tony exclaims that they need to find Vision, to which Rhodes thinks maybe they already have him. Then boom! Out of nowhere, Thanos shows up, walking out of a portal he had been tracking a time stone, and a big fight commences. Thanos toys with Team Tony and the Guardians. He badly injures and knocks out Spider-Man, uses the Reality Stone to make Iron Man see Hulk as his enemy, as a role reversal of Age of Ultron, and Hulk is occupied with Iron Man, trying to stop his Hulkbuster, while the city is being destroyed by collateral damage. Gamora and Drax try to exact their revenge on Thanos but are thwarted by the Titan. Peter Quill and Doctor Strange tries to take Thanos into the mirror dimension, where Strange has more power, and Quill and Strange fight Thanos in it, but Thanos uses the Reality Stone to warp them out of it, and they fall. Rocket and Groot try a trick to get the gauntlet from Thanos, but Thanos sees through it and knocks them down. Thanos punches Rhodes out of his armor and kills him. Then Proxima Midnight kills the Mantis, and Drax is horrified. Tony is fuming so much at Rhodes' death that it snaps him out of Thanos' trance from the Reality Stone. Thanos does the same move he did to Rhodes to Tony, and Tony is punched out of his Hulkbuster armor but manages to survive, but is knocked out. With the Black Order's help, Thanos puts down Team Tony and is about to finish them off. Then Doctor Strange tries the "I've come to bargain" trick he did to Dormammu. But Thanos uses the Reality Stone as well as a Space Stone to stop the Time Stone from affecting him. Then Thanos beats on Strange, knocking him down, and takes the Time Stone, the Eye of Agamotto. He breaks it and adds it to his gauntlet. Now he has the power of time, reality, space, and the soul. As Thanos is about to deliver the killing blow to them all, Strange uses the last of his power to warp all of them out in a flash.
No matter where they go, they will feel the wrath of Thanos.
Proxima says Thanos should use the Soul Stone to locate them and finish them off for good, but Loki tells Thanos that he shouldn't waste time on those morons, that they are no match for him, and that he should focus on completing his task of courting death. What are you up to, Loki? He must find the Mind Stone. Thanos agrees with Loki, much to Proxima Midnight's disgust. Thanos has trouble tracking the Mind Stone because of Wanda's powers weakening the signal Vision's stone is emitting. So he uses the Time Stone to travel back to when he could pick up a signal, and uses the Soul Stone and the Reality Stone to see what Wanda and Vision was up to. He sees Team Cap freeing Captain America from prison and them travelling to Wakanda, and sets off for Wakanda with his Black Order to retrieve the Mind Stone. No one can hide from Thanos. Act 3, back at Wakanda. We cut to Wakanda where we see that Black Panther has been brought up to speed with everything that's going on. We see Bucky is up and walking around with a brand spanking new shiny vibranium arm. Bucky and Cap reunite, and it looks like Bucky has made a full-on recovery. Bucky was released from stasis in the third act of my version of the Black Panther film. Vision is held in a room where Wanda is focusing her powers on hiding the signal his Mind Stone is emitting. We see Panther and his sister Shuri talking, as well as the rest of Team Cap. They're all having a discussion on whether they should have brought Tony in on this, and the Falcon claims that there would be just no time to wait on the government say so, they had to act immediately. Panther is alerted to a huge threat outside the gates of Wakanda. Thanos arrives at Wakanda's gates and shouts for the Vision's protectors to come meet him in the field of battle. Panther notices that there's literally only Thanos and 4 of his men, the Black Order. Panther wonders how so few of them are a threat. Widow warns Panther not to underestimate Thanos and his Black Order after their previous encounter with them. Panther sends his army to the gates, and thousands of Wakandan soldiers are devastated by Thanos and the Black Order. Panther is infuriated and can't believe his eyes. Then Captain America says, "We have to fight." So we have Panther, Shuri, some Dora Milaje, a shieldless Cap, Hawkeye, Falcon, Widow, Ant-Man and Bucky versus Thanos and his Black Order, while Wanda is with Vision. Vision tells Wanda to stop, that they found us, and that she should go out and help with the fight. They all jump in at Thanos, and Thanos freezes time, and starts laughing uncontrollably at how much power he has. All of Team Cap are frozen in the air. Thanos walks up to Cap and grabs him. Cap is paralyzed in time. Thanos uses the Soul Stone to look into Cap's soul and sees that he is a man out of time, now stuck in time, and finds the irony of the situation hilarious. Thanos pulls his Infinity Gauntleted fist back to deliver a killing blow to Cap, with the Infinity Stones gleaming with power. Then all of a sudden, Cap's pupils move into Thanos' direction, and Thanos is shocked.
Impossible.
And Cap kicks Thanos off of him, and everyone is snapped out of it, and we see Scarlet Witch was using her connection to the Infinity Stones to manipulate them, giving Avengers just enough time to break out of Thanos' spell. This was a lightning in a bottle moment for Scarlet Witch. She could not do that again. A unique moment there for her. And they all attack Thanos. Thanos, angered by this, puts them all down using each stone individually. Ebony Maw kills Shuri, angering Black Panther. Panther gets revenge by killing Ebony Maw almost immediately, and with all the Avengers' might, they also manage to kill Corvus Glaive. Cole Obsidian puts down Panther, knocks him out. Cap is the last one standing. Team Cap are all knocked out. Cap is about to speak, but as if like lightning, Thanos appears before him and puts his gauntleted fist through him. All the Avengers that are still conscious but unable to move react to it, shocked. Bucky is distraught. Thanos begins laughing as Loki appears not too far behind him with Proxima Midnight and Cole Obsidian still alive. Thanos picks up Wanda with one hand and says,
This one has an unusual connection to the Infinity Stone, and through some miracle, managed to shut off the power of the Time Stone. She cannot be left alive.
But sire, if we obtain the Power Stone, you can use it to power the other stones and give them all unrivaled, unlimited power. Thanos agrees that it is perhaps because the Infinity Gauntlet is not complete that she was able to manipulate its power, but nonetheless, she must die. Then Vision, seeing Wanda could die, steps up and offers himself to Thanos if he promises to spare everybody. Wanda says no. Thanos agrees and rips Vision's Mind Stone out of his head, and his entire body turns pale white and he faints. Scarlet Witch screams and is angry while Thanos is laughing. Thanos then sucks Vision's soul into the Soul Stone, to stop any remaining connection that he could have with the Infinity Stones from being put to use later, much like Scarlet Witch. He puts the Mind Stone in his gauntlet and we suddenly see Scarlet Witch floating in the air, emitting all this raw power. Her pupils have disappeared and the Mind Stone is flashing on Thanos' gauntlet because of her connection to it. Thanos admires her love for the Vision and says this is an example of how powerful death can be.
How can you not love death when it generates this much power?
Says Thanos. He says it's a shame such a unique creature must die. Then Thanos lifts his gauntlet in order to kill her, but it's not working. Thanos is shocked that his gauntlet's power is being trumped by a godlike Scarlet Witch who has become anger and vengeance incarnate. Everything around them is being destroyed by hurricanes and tornadoes caused by Scarlet Witch's incredible power. Loki screams, "You must complete the gauntlet! Your power is no match for her until you have the Power Stone!" Then a portal opens up with Doctor Strange, Peter Quill, the Guardians, as well as Banner, Iron Man, Thor, and Spider-Man coming out of it, all battle-weary and half-beaten. Thanos, angered, then creates a portal and goes in it with the remaining of his Black Order and Loki disappearing. Scarlet Witch then turns her attentions to Doctor Strange, the Guardians, and Team Tony. Thor exclaims that she has no control of her power and that she will destroy them all. Doctor Strange says he thinks he can stop her and does some "by the power of the Vishanti" shit or something.
I summon forth the shielding powers of the Vishanti! Impressive!
And knocks Scarlet Witch out as she falls to the ground and Strange is checking on her. Tony asks where Thanos has gone and Peter Quill says Xandar for the Power Stone. Tony notices Cap's lifeless body and pulls his helmet back. Tony's face is filled with a weight of mixed emotions. We cut to Thanos, Col Obsidian and Proxima Midnight, wreaking havoc against the Nova Corps on Xandar. We see the Chitauri flying in from Thanos' ship, attacking the Nova soldiers in the background. Thanos didn't use the Chitauri before because he had a personal vendetta against the Earth's heroes. He wanted to take them out himself. Yeah. You know, from Avengers 1, he was pissed at them. Anyway, Nova Prime shouts, "We need Nova!" And some lieutenant claims that he's already outside, and we are introduced to Richard Rider, Nova, who Thanos leaves for his Black Order to fight as he approaches the final Power Stone in the Nova Vault. After killing all the guards around the Power Stone, Thanos opens the vault and sees that it's already been taken, and he looks mad as hell. And we hear a familiar deep female voice say, "Looking for this?" And Thanos sees Nebula with the Power Stone embedded in a sword, gleaming. Thanos says,
You've always been my favorite daughter, Nebula. Give me the stone.
Nebula attacks Thanos with her sword, infused with the Power Stone, and manages to bring Titan to his knees. She is monologuing about all the atrocities he has done to her, while she slices and dices him up. Thanos is bleeding quite a bit from the face. And if you're wondering how she brought Thanos down, it's Thanos. He's playing with her. Then as it looks like she's about to deliver the final blow, Thanos smiles as his gauntlet glows. The concrete floor rises and forms into a grip and chokes her. Thanos claims that Nebula will be the greatest gift to death, that she'll live in a fine line between life and death for eternity. And Nebula visibly ages thanks to the Time Stone and is hundreds of years old and in terrible pain. She literally becomes a zombie. Then Thanos teleports her somewhere unknown. He grabs the last Infinity Stone and puts it on his gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet is complete. Back at Wakanda, Earth's remaining heroes are being nursed to health. Funeral plans are being made for Shuri, Rhodes, Mantis and Cap. And we see a scene reminiscent of the death of Captain America comic, with Tony watching over a dead Cap with his shield over Captain America's body. Tony had already brought the shield back for him. A teary Tony apologized to Cap and admits that Cap was right, that he was always right, and says that the Avengers will stay true to their namesake and avenge Captain America's death. Captain America's death brings together the warring factions of the Avengers, for what's remaining of them anyway. Bucky and Tony make amends. Tony forgives Bucky and finally understands that he was not to blame for his parents' death, and after a day, they are ready for their battle with Thanos. Panther, Widow and Hawkeye come up with a strategy to take Thanos down. and Doctor Strange opens a portal to Xandar so the Avengers can put a stop to the Mad Titan. Earth's mightiest heroes and the Guardians of the Galaxy appear on Xandar and see death and destruction. Just dead Nova Corps soldiers, dead Xandarian citizens. They are all on the floor, lifeless. No one can give any information except one man. A fallen but not dead Richard Rider, the hero known as Nova, gives Doctor Strange the location of the Mad Titan. He is at Nova Corps HQ, which has been turned into a shrine of some kind. Thanos is seated at the top of Kol Obsidian in approximate midnight by Thanos' side. Thanos tells the heroes that he's been waiting for them. Thanos sends the remaining Chitauri and Black Order on Earth's mightiest heroes, and almost immediately the Guardians avenge the death of Mantis by killing Approximate Midnight, and Banner turning into Hulk destroys Kol Obsidian. The Chitauri are taken out by the rest of the heroes, and an angry Tony Stark shouts, "Thanos! It's time to pay for your crimes!" With Rhodes and Cap on Tony's mind, he attacks Thanos, and Thanos takes down all the Avengers one by one. He kills a few, knocks out a few Guardians, and with every death and every knockdown and every laugh from Thanos as he murders Earth's mightiest heroes with the infinite power of the Infinity Gauntlet, Scarlet Witch is reminded of Quicksilver's death. She's reminded of Vision's death, of Cap's death, and she flips. Thanos laughs, saying that her power is useless, that she cannot affect the stones when all six are under his command. Lightning, thunder, and tornadoes engulf the entire area. The shrine has been ripped apart by her mere presence. Loki is nowhere to be seen, only Thor, Tony, Panther, Peter Quill, Hulk, and Doctor Strange are left alive. Thanos lifts his gauntlet in the air and says,
"It's time to court death."
The heroes look in horror at Scarlet Witch, thinking she's gonna die, and then Scarlet Witch, out of nowhere, says, "No more Infinity Stones." And with a flash of light and a crash of thunder, as they sit on Thanos' gauntlet, the Infinity Stones are destroyed, all blown to bits. The heroes cannot believe it. Doctor Strange screams, "Kill him now!" And Strange blasts Thanos with some energy beams, along with Iron Man. Peter Quill is shooting at Thanos, as well as Thor using his God Force lightning blast, Panther using Shuri's gauntlets, and Thanos explodes with a deathly scream. Because of the Infinity Gauntlet's destruction, all of Thanos' deeds have been undone. Everybody that Thanos has killed is brought back to life. Scarlet Witch has saved the day. The Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones have been destroyed, and the Mad Titan is dead. Doctor Strange says he finally got what he wanted: death. So we're back on Earth. All of Thanos' deeds have been reversed. Cap is alive again, and he and Iron Man make up, and he gets his shield back. The Avengers together try to appeal against the Accords. A funeral was held for the Vision. He could not be revived as the Mind Stone was seemingly the source of his life force and it had been destroyed. Not even Wakanda's advanced tech could help him. The Avengers tell Scarlet Witch not to blame herself, that Vision's sacrifice saved countless lives all over the universe. And Scarlet Witch becomes a student of the mystic arts with Doctor Strange as her teacher. She learns to control her power. Thor's Asgardians are alive again with Heimdall and Valkyrie back with them, and they create new Asgard at the place where Odin died. The Guardians of the Galaxy create a way to contact the Avengers in case of an intergalactic emergency. Doctor Strange, Bruce Banner, Captain America, Black Panther and Iron Man form the Illuminati. And that is the end of my version of Avengers Infinity War. Awesome, right? Well, at least I think so. Wait a minute, this is Marvel, you can't end this without some after credit scenes. Run it! The mid-credit scene, we open with a shot of rocks on an asteroid in space, and we hear the voice of Loki saying the words, "There can be no denying it. You are supreme. Anything you wish to be, you are. Anything you wish is. Nothing this universe dares challenge that claim. There be only one word to describe you." And we pan to some rocks that are forming the word God. And we see Thanos in his full armor, looking on with Loki by his side. Thanos is still alive. Loki says, "Your use of the reality stone, the mind stone and the soul stone to make those cursed Avengers think they won was pure genius. They think that witch destroyed the Infinity Stones, but they have no idea you put that lie into their minds. But why did you allow them to live? Why did you revive them? With the power of all 6 Infinity Stones, you could have blinked them all out of existence." Thanos laughs and says,
For what I have planned, I need them at their full power. I have the power of a god, but death still spurns me. She has yet to show herself to me. I will use the Avengers, my greatest foes, to finally court death.
Thanos then brings the gauntlet up to his face with the stones all alive with light, and then he lifts his fist in the air and clicks his fingers, and the stones flash and we fade into black. And then we move to the after credits scene. We open in a weird world where all the colours are inverted and abnormal, and we see the Vision. He is pale white and weak. He wonders where he is, and Peter Dinklage, aka Pip the Troll, shows up and says to him, "No, you're not dead." Vision is confused and is like, "What is this place?" And we hear a distant but powerful voice in the background say, "This is the Soul Stone. Thanos has trapped you inside the Soul Stone." The Soul Stone? But how is that possible? How can I, a synthetic being, have a soul? Then the Collector makes himself seen out of nowhere and replies, "A soul without a mind." And the strange gold man sitting beside the Collector stands up and says, "My name is Adam Warlock, and in order to truly stop the Mad Titan, we must gather the cosmic entities." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I would make Avengers Infinity War. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you liked and what you didn't like in the comments below. Don't take this too seriously, it's just a fun fan fiction video. Though Marvel, you best put Adam Warlock in the game like I did, otherwise we're going to have a couple of words, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it literally took blood, sweat and tears to make this, so I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys shared it amongst your people and subscribe by hitting the little notification bell next to the sub button for more film and gaming content, reactions, reviews and news. And if this video gets popular enough, I'll make my version of Avengers 4 continuing on from this story. Peace.